Hey, Chicago investors, maintenance. Now, I know I tell people I'm a property manager, but at the end of the day, a majority of property management ends up being maintenance. And the maintenance that has to be done to your Chicago properties is considerable compared to even other parts of the country. Hi, I'm Mark 𝗥𝗲𝗃𝗍, founder, partner of GC Realty Development, and also co-host of Chicago's #1 real estate investing podcast, Straight Up Chicago Investor. Check that out. But today I want to talk about maintenance. And maintenance is such a crucial thing when it comes to the resident experience. Now, you've heard me talk in the past about, do everything you can to avoid maintenance and get the stuff done during the turnover process prior to a tenant moving in, and that helps avoid putting the tenant through the maintenance process, where if they just have quiet enjoyment, no complaints, and they could always say that there's no maintenance in my place, it's awesome, and they could just be that much happier. But maintenance is gonna happen, especially, I told you already, we were dealing with these 120-year-old homes here in Chicago, and I believe 60% of the housing stock is older than 1960, which that's pretty old in itself these days, now that we're in 1920s, or we're in 2026. But that being said, maintenance is gonna come up no matter what. No matter how preventative you are, you're still gonna have stuff. And what's probably crucial is you understanding the time frame of how fast it should take you to get things done. Now, what we did is we took the last 12 months of maintenance, and what we did was we put it through to see really what our average time was, broken down by the different type of work order. So we broke it down to anything from general handyman to appliances, pest control, painting, flooring, cleaning, HVAC, locksmith. So we broke it down, and we figured out month by month even what the average time it was to take a work order in that category to get done. And I guess I wasn't that surprised when it really broke down, but really what I was looking at was a lot of this work. You think about just a small work order, a door falls off a hinge, like it doesn't take long. The time it takes to get a hold of somebody to go to your property, and then they have time on their schedule to get out to your property, maybe they have to coordinate with a tenant, that's what really takes a lot of the time. So, we're looking at our numbers, and to no surprise, stuff like cleaning, that was pretty quick. It's only a couple day average. HVAC, locksmith, plumbing, those are only 2 or 3 day averages. Now, those tend to be emergencies, right? People aren't usually calling up saying, hey, how about you just clean my furnace? That there usually ends up being a total, something's wrong, heat's not working, AC's not working, we gotta get someone out there ASAP. So in heat or leaks, or someone broke in, I gotta change my locks, those are all emergency situations where you're actually working it within hours, not so much necessarily days or weeks. So those things came in at no surprise of 2 or 3 days. Handyman general work, came in at 5 days. And I think that came in probably for us as we like to group work orders together geographically. We have a lot of properties clustered in different parts of the city and suburbs, so we'll send people depending on how urgent it is, or if we're gonna be there already doing something else, we might do something. So we were averaging about 5 days for that. Appliances were 6 days, and when I looked at this, it was like 50% of the appliance repairs. Now, this is not replacement of appliances. We're not calling it up ABT in 6 days and getting it delivered, but they do a pretty good job. They usually can do it within right around 6, 7, 8 days. But appliance repairs, and it was a majority of these required parts. So guy might have got out there day 1 or day 2, but he had to order a part or go pick up a part and then come back. So appliances was right around 6 days for those repairs. Pest control, 7 days, and when we looked into that, it ended up being a lot of callbacks. Where it's like, hey, let's go out there, let's treat it. Let's go back 5, 6 days later, make sure it's working, or let's go set a trap, and let's come back and make sure, see if anything was caught in that trap. But the 2 longest ones for us, and again, I don't think any of this was a surprise, but really I just want to share with everybody kind of the mindset around the different issues that come up and the potential time frame. So painting and flooring, painting ended up being about 8 days. Now, I should have said this at the beginning, but what was excluded from this was no turnover work, and this was no routine maintenance. So I didn't put the 1,200 HVAC cleanings that we do in the system, or the 300, 400 gutters that we clean out. Like that, all that routine, scheduled, reoccurring work orders was not part of this plan. And similar painting, this was not turnover, but it still took 8 days. And I think painting is very clear to me why it took 8 days, because sometimes these projects take 2 or 3 days if we're doing something, or there's usually a timeline. If a guy's got 2 or 3 jobs booked and he has to put you in order, you might be 9 or 10 or 12 days out from getting the guy out there. And this painting is usually not an urgent matter either. So, and then last but not least, the longest time frame was flooring. And the thing I saw about flooring was a lot of times you're taking time trying to match the right product, or you have to special order the matching product. So a lot of times it's lead time. And then also, again, flooring could take a couple days, and those guys that are doing that work, they might be booked out a week or a week and a half. So we were 14 days as far as getting flooring done. That was our highest number. So keep this in mind though. So all of these things, we're getting these things done in 2-3 days, 5 days for just your general maintenance. But we have a whole system in place. And if you're a self-managing landlord, or you're thinking about being a landlord, what's super important is to understand who to call when you have a problem. And it might just be one guy. I have tons of guys that I know over the last 20 years that I'm their one guy, and they call me whenever they need something. I simply text over who my contact is, who I would call in this situation, or tell them what I would do, and they do that. So, or there's other guys I know that have an entire Rolodex. Every single problem that can come up, they got a guy they know how to call. And that's good. That's good too, just so you have a system. But then there's a lot of people that just don't have a system. And I'll have people call me up. It's like, yeah, this was leaking. It's been about 2-3 weeks. I just didn't know who to call. I called the first guy. His price seemed high. Now, when you have the leak, is not the time to go figure out all the due diligence. You want to make sure you have somebody. And all reality, you might just have to, if you don't have somebody lined up and something goes wrong, you might just have to overpay to prevent further damage or keep that tenant happy. A lot of times, problems that go unsolved turn into bigger problems, or ultimately, it just has a festering in the tenant of maybe how crappy of a landlord they feel you are. And that could affect your renewal rate as well too. You guys hear me talk about all the time, lease renewal and getting tenants to stay. That's ultimately how us as landlords and housing providers, we make money, is the longer someone's in there. Turnover is super expensive. So in the mind of the tenant, if you're knocking these things out in a few days, and being super communicative around it, that's a whole other subject when it comes to maintenance. So I heard a phrase recently. It was, maintenance is easy. It's communicating to all parties' expectations is the difficult part. So maybe take that for what that is as well too in this conversation. So if you have any questions, you ever need help with a specific maintenance issue, feel free to reach out to me. If you don't want to go at this alone, if maybe you're like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to build a network, I don't want to have to find a guy, we can always help you as well too. We do tenant placement, but more so for this topic here today, we do full service management. So if we could ever help you, we do management all around the Chicago market. Always here to help you. Otherwise, we'll talk to you soon.